to Gab Mentality Episode 9. So after a month of absence, nagbabalik na naman po kami.
Yes.
Finally, sobrang naging busy talaga and maraming ganap. So ngayon lang talaga kami ulit karoon ng panibagong broadcast. So kamusta,
Right.
kamusta, kamusta sa kalabasa, Jute sa Shopee May? Sorry,
May
hanggang ngayon
hangover. May hangover ka pa nun sa ano. Sino ba siya?
si
Kay
ano,
ano? I forget
parang
her name.
Becky Mon Gaming, yun yung pangalan niya sa YouTube eh.
Si Becky Mon. Si Becky Mon nga.
Si Becky Mon.
Yung dating naging anchor sa morning show sa channel. Sa ABS.
Ay
Al-
talaga.
Oo, alam ko before napunta siya doon eh. So, yes, finally, we've seen some sun today. Thank God. So,
That's good.
umaraw na dito sa sa area namin, and so far no rain, which is good.
Mm.
So kahit papaano balik sa extra init, pero it's a welcome respite after
Ah.
the torrential rainfall
Mm.
na talaga namang ang hirap, very challenging, especially for you know for the clothes, ang
Totoo, 'di ba?
laundry,
Yung
kahit
mga labada mo.
kahit bonggang-bongga yung dryer mo, iba pa rin yung naaarawan yung damit, eh.
That's right, that's right. I totally agree na hindi mas maganda pa rin yung naaarawan siya para at least yung ano, I think it would feel fresher,
Yes,
no? Mas
and cleaner kahit
clean.
papaano.
Totoo, ayan. So,
So,
ano-ano na ang
we were
ganap-ganap.
we were supposed to continue with the
Yeah,
Korean thing, but
oo.
at the same time, since our guest speaker, Nax guest speaker daw eh, no?
Yes.
Yung guest namin had some schedule difficulties. Clea and I decided na, okay, we have to come back and at least go and do another live, just for consistency
You
purposes, and of
know.
course syempre na pause din kami for quite some time, and we kind of miss doing this, having
Mhm.
chit chat about our favorite topic. That's the reason why we're here. And what better way to start off a hiatus by discussing something that's related naman sa bansa natin. Yeah.
Oo. And interestingly, tomorrow is the 1st of August, correct? 'Di ba?
Yes,
We're entering a
yes.
new month. And August is
Buwan ng wika.
buwan ng wikang pambansa. Yan. Pero
Oo.
still it's still connected kasi it's about our culture, our heritage. So ano ang topic natin today? Ayan. Yan ang title.
Yes.
Actually, we were thinking what kind of title to use kasi when you say pre-colonial Philippines, it sounds so textbook, di ba?
Correct.
So we decided, why don't we try to be a little bit more creative and remember, Filipinos, ang moniker natin is ano Juan. Diba? Yung mayroon tayong
Yes.
si Juan de la Cruz. Kasi in
Juan
the States, they have
Tamad.
John Smith.
Si Juan Tamad.
Juan Tamad, diba? So, we
Yes.
decided na before we were one, pero parang medyo connected siya before we were one. Dati I was thinking, I was asking Shopee,
Mm.
is there a moniker for Spain? Kasi hindi ko alam kung meron silang ano. Kasi di ba like ang US, Uncle
Mm-mm.
Sam. Like
Yes.
before when Uncle Sam met Juan, parang parang when Harry met Sally bang ano. Pero sabi ko, sige,
Oo.
before we were Juan na lang. Para medyo, ayun.
Yes.
So before, what was life like before we were colonized by
Colonized.
Spain, USA, and Japan. Okay, kasi it's a
Right.
very interesting topic and parang walang masyadong na-feature even na TV series or movie about
Ano pa dyan?
pre-colonial Philippines. Ang alam ko lang was Amaya.
Oo. Yung that was mid-2000s yata. Kay Marian Rivera. Mm-mm.
Oo, tapos may mga iba pa eh. I think there was one in Channel 2. Hindi ko maalala, pero ito sila Liza Soberano,
Oo, oo. Yun. Yun.
si Makisig,
E-
and,
Enrique Hill.
oo, yun. Pero
Oo.
para more of fantasy siya.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
Parang may mga different tribes. If I haven't seen it, pero
Mm.
I think it has some elements of yung mga religious beliefs pre-colonial times. Pero yung Amaya talaga, doon ako mas naging interested.
And
Kasi
I
yung,
think they did a good job.
mm,
Yung buong team na yon na nag-put up ng historical series na yon kasi bumenta siya in fairness. It's just that I haven't really had a chance to finish it
mm,
like from start up to the end. And
ah,
ikaw, na alam ko, tinapos mo yun eh.
hindi ko siya natapos kasi parang I don't know why hindi ko nas marami na yata akong ginawa nun. Pero it was very interesting yung mga pagtatattoo, yung down to the costume design,
Oo.
uh, yung elements talaga was very well researched. That's why
Mm-mm.
we've decided to, talk about this kasi I think it has been long overdue, 'di ba? And thank you dun sa mga nanonood, sa mga manonood in the future. So again, if you're new here, welcome. We are the Gab Mentality team. This is a passion project naming dalawa ni Shops. We bonded about our love for history, and we would like to share it with a lot of people, with friends and family. And we hope that somehow in our own little way, ma-encourage namin kayo to have an appreciation, especially if we are talking about our heritage and kung paano natin ito
Mm-hmm.
palalaguin. Tama ba?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And we're actually on YouTube initially until we decided to create an FB account, a Twitter, and an Instagram. And at the same time, we have been slowly transitioning on converting all these episodes into recording and into a podcast. So far, I was only able to convert the first episode and the second episode. So,
Uh-uh.
kailangan ko pang i-upload ang second episode and then the rest may pending pa rin. So,
Mm-mm.
if you want to explore, we are on Google Podcasts, we're on Anchor, Podbean, and anywhere that you can find podcasts except on Spotify, unfortunately.
Oo nga.
Ayaw
Bakit
pa rin
kaya?
lumabas eh.
Ayaw
So
pa rin
I
nila
have to deal
lumabas.
with the Anchor folks and send them an email, follow
Mm-mm.
up what's going on.
Ayun.
So there.
Ayun. So, yun. Sana ay suportahan ninyo ito. Okay. So,
Right.
why don't we jump right in kung ano ba talaga ang
Yep.
buhay ng mga Pilipino noon? Ano ba yung paniniwala nila? And there are some surprising things that we discovered during our research. Ayan.
Mm-hmm.
Tuloyan natin doon sa isa. So, gold was
There.
aplenty. So, nakabling ang ating mga ninuno noon. And because it's part of the daily attire,
Mm-hmm.
talaga nag-accessorize talaga ang mga ninuno natin. At hindi lang ito limited sa mga mayayaman ha. Even the ordinary
Regular folk.
people, regular
Mm.
folk, they also wear jewelry or gold. So according to the historian William Henry Scott, sabi niya, a Samar Datu by the name of Iberain was rowed out to a Spanish vessel anchored in his harbor in 1543 by oarsmen colored in gold. So imagine ito
Wow.
ay oarsmen, so mga
Yeah.
nagbabangka, naka-gold sila while wearing on his own person earrings and chains. Talagang, di ba,
Wow.
imagine mo, blinged out talaga siya. So hindi lang talaga limited sa mga mayayaman. So pati
Yeah,
doon
and
sa
that's come to think of it, gold is heavy and at the same time, mahirap imina yan.
totoo. And interestingly, itong the first picture on top, it's found in Butuan. And Butuan is in
Oh,
Mindanao.
yes.
Ah, doon daw talaga it was a trading spot. Kaya
Mm.
marami doon nagpupunta mga Indians, kami makikita doon ng mga Indian writings. And yung area daw na yun was called Survarnad Vipa or Islands of Gold. Such a mouthful. It was Islands of Gold. So it's believed to be present day Indonesia and the Philippines.
Mm.
So talagang very gold was really common. I mean, kasi they're
Yeah.
trading, nagtitrade. And I think that's one of the things na namangha yung mga first visitors like this from the West na a
Mhm.
lot of people were really wearing gold.
Mhm.
Yun.
And
Okay, so
take note that this was 1543 prior to the discovery, the official discovery of our country. So it was 1561 eh,
oo.
'di ba? And correct me if I'm wrong, if we
No,
are to go to
1521 dumating si
sorry, oo,
Magellan. 1521.
1521. So buhay pa si Henry VIII,
Oo,
no?
buhay pa
And
siya.
currently he was still wooing Anne Boleyn, if I'm not mistaken.
Tama,
So
'di ba?
that was what's happening nung time na yun sa ano sa England
Correct,
nung
'di ba
time na
imaginein
yon.
mo, talagang during that time in the West, kita mo yung disparity between rich and
Yes,
poor. Pero in
right.
our society, pre-colonial, everybody can can wear
Afford to
gold,
wear gold.
can afford to wear
Yes.
gold. So I think that only says na mayaman talaga,
Mm.
'di ba?
Mayaman, and at the same time equality isn't what do you call this, hindi hindi siya different from one from a person to another.
Mm.
Oo, may dato, may
Ay,
mga
they
namumuno,
they are still there's still a hierarchy.
may
Hierarchy
hierarchy
to
pa
it.
rin, pero it doesn't mean na just because you're a regular folk, you can't wear
You
gold.
can't
But you
wear, oo.
can.
O
Oo. And
naalala ko,
in
oo.
fairness,
Oh.
gusto ko yung third picture. Gusto ko yung
'Di ba?
accessory.
Ay parang ano,
Oo.
na gano'n. Tsaka nauso yata before that yung I think nauso rin ito nung 1920s and I think in the early 2000s. Naalala mo yung parang yung armband na yung para siyang snake?
Oo. Yes.
Nauso yun, eh, 'di ba? Naalala ko may gano'n din ako. Imagine mo nung pala gano'n may gano'n din, 'di ba?
Oo.
So,
Correct.
ayan. Okay. So, so ayan na. So, blinked out ang ating mga ninuno noon.
Oo.
Okay. Eto talaga, dito ako na ano, multiple
Nagulat ako
children.
dito.
Ako din, multiple children was undesirable. Unlike today, though there is family planning, I think even in that time, may idea of family planning. Pero for them, ang mga tao, feeling nila, having too many children makes them feel like they were pigs. Parang breeding lang ng breeding. So,
Okay.
I think from what I've read, they are more responsible, I think, from how I parang iniisip kasi nila yung future eh. Like sinabi dito
Mhm.
ni Miguel de Loarca, he was a Spanish conquistador. When property is to be divided among all the children, they will all
Yeah,
be poor, and that it is better to have one child and leave him wealthy.
it
Uh,
makes sense.
it makes a lot of sense. What is it? Ayun. So sabi ko, totoo nga naman na paano na sige, marami mag-aanak ka. Tapos pag namatay ka, syempre, di-divide mo. Eh di anong ilang parang
Oo.
how much na lang yon, di ba? So it really makes sense. And abortion was practiced by almost everyone. And since we became
Hmm,
Catholic,
yan na.
it's it's very how to say frowned upon. It's considered a sin.
Yes.
Kaya kaya nagulat talaga ako. So may mga may mga abortionistas pala noon, and it wasn't really frowned upon, lalo na if ayaw na talaga nila mag-conceive ulit.
Mm.
Sana ganun mag-isip ang tao. Of course, I'm against abortion, okay? Sana ganun yung isip ng tao na pag marami yung masyado yung anak mo, pag magdi-divide ka na ng mana nila, you want them to be comfortable, to be not really well off, but yung they are living comfortably ba? 'Di ba? Wag naman siyang anak na anak. Ngayon kasi sa Philippines, sa atin kasi ngayon ano eh, I think ano rin, hindi rin gano'n ka-educated when it comes to
Oh
family
no.
planning, 'di ba?
Hindi.
Although
Lalo na ang urban poor dito. No. Diyos ko Lord.
yeah, I know the more the merrier, but still kaya nga, speaking of, 'di ba kasi I know you don't watch 90 Day Fiancé kasi ako nanonood ako no'n. Alam mong guilty pleasure ko 'yan.
Yes.
May isang couple do'n, yung husband is from Samoa. So
Mm,
ano siya ano ba ano bang part ng
Samoa.
Samoa? It's Polynesian.
Yeah,
'di ba?
it's a
Sa po
Polynesian country.
sa Polynesian country. So sila, ah, parang hindi sila naniniwala sa parang most of them, I don't know ha, ang impression ko, so kung if there are any Samoan, of Samoan heritage, please enlighten us. Parang a lot of them are, they love having big families. So
Mm-hmm.
this couple, Kalani is the American girl. Her father is Samoan. So half Samoan siya. Husband is from Samoa, si Asuelu. So Asuelu wanted to have another child. They already have two. And they are already struggling to support their two kids. Tapos sabi the guy said, I want another one. So the girl, Kalani said, we already have two kids. How can we afford another one? And then sabi ni Guy, in Samoa we have a big family, so I want to have more children as well. So Kalani said, "Oh sige, if you want to have another one, and then we might end up poor because we struggle supporting them. So paano yung mga
Yeah.
anak natin when they grow older, they will grow poor. So it really makes sense if you think of what you know, if you would ah he wants na it would really make sense to really plan how many children you will have.
Mm-mm.
Because in the end, ikaw din, yung mga bata din ang mahihirapan.
Totoo.
Diba? Yun. So, ayun. So, we move on to the next one. At dito din ako na surprise. Homosexuals had an important role in pre-colonial society. Wala akong makitang picture talaga. So, yung rainbow na LGBTQ+. Yan.
Yes.
So, early Spanish missionaries have reported of the existence of men who assumed the roles of a babaylan. So, ano ba ang babaylan, Shopee? May idea ka ba kung anong babaylan?
Babaylan are priestesses. So
Yeah.
they what do you call this? They go about yung mga practices, mga religious or traditions, like healing,
Mm-mm.
um, like helping the woman conceive, yung mga ganyan.
Yes.
So
And
they
yeah.
do that.
And they are very well respected in society. They even are considered advisors sometimes to the datu or to the raha. So
Yeah,
very
mystical
powerful.
healers. Oo.
Mystical healers. Nung nga isa kang babay lang, ito na naman si Trece, babay lang mandirigma. Di ba? Yun.
Uh,
Si Trece. So sabi din ni Father Francisco Alsina sa kanyang book, impotent men and deficient for the practice of matrimony consider themselves more like women than men in their manner of living or going about, even in their occupations. So si Father Alcina, he wrote a book about his observations. So may mga napansin siya na mga ganito daw na mga kalalakihan na who are assuming the roles of women in society. And this was in 1668, ha? So parang, wow, okay, na-observe niya yon. No, that was before pala. So he wrote it in his book that was published in 1668. And I think in the Visayas, they call them babaylan. And then, yeah, please. They
and
called them babaylan
Catalonans.
in
Catalonans in
Tagalog.
Tagalog. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ay, teka nga, sandali itong batang ito. Ayan, okay, Peppa Pig. Okay. Ayan, sige, ayan. So sabi din dito sa boxer ko, nahubaran po, di ba mahubaran? Sorry naman. The bayog or bayogin are priests dressed in female garb. Almost all are impotent for the reproductive act, and thus they marry other males and sleep with them as man and wife and have carnal knowledge. So this is according to the Boxer Codex. This was in the 16th century. So, di ba
Mhm.
ngayon sa Philippines hindi allowed ang same-sex marriage. Pero
Mhm.
nung panahon pala ng pre-colonial, men can, from how I understand, they can get married,
Yeah.
no? But of course, andun yung parang they were already cross-dressing, and
Mhm.
I think dito ko napansin ay mas open-minded ang mga ninuno natin compared to now,
True.
'di ba? Na parang mas is the word inclusive?
Yes. So we embraced then
Mm.
diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, so they are really very inclusive, and they are not really they are given they are well they can assume roles in society, 'di ba? Unlike today kasi I mean I support the LGBTQ cause, and they wanted to be to have more of acceptance. 'Di ba?
Mm.
So sana 'di ba, if you will look back, yung mga ninuno natin, they accepted it. They accepted them already. So sana it would translate to what's happening now. 'Di ba? So may rainbow flag na noon.
Ah,
Only to
yan,
be torn
yan.
only to be torn down later on.
Unfortunately, yes.
Sadly.
But well, what can we do?
Mm.
Very hardcore Catholics ang nag-conquer sa atin. So it's
Mm.
not surprising na, we adapted their traditions and embraced their culture. Well, if I may put it, it was shoved down our
Mhm.
throats.
That's right. It was really
Yan.
shoved down our throats, totoo. But
Yes,
of
that's what
course,
happened.
though may mga maganda din naman na idulot yon. But this is just us, this is just our realizations. Opinion din namin ito ni Shop. So, yon. Okay.
Yes.
So, let's move to the next part. So, I turn
Sure.
it over to you.
Yeah, right. Thank you. So, Clea talked about babaylan. So, in other words, Filipino women were on equal footing with men. Kung may mga shamans na lalaki nung mga time na yun sa mga tribo sa Pilipinas,
Yeah.
there were also women healers, so to speak. So, women shamans, and they're known to be babaylan. So, in pre-colonial Philippines, women enjoyed the same rights, privileges, and opportunities as did men. So
Mm.
unlike nung na-colonize na tayo ng Spain rather, it all went the other way. It all went the opposite way. Women were groomed to be like very mahinhin, meek, docile, you
Yeah.
know, and very kapuri-puri, ganyan,
Mm-mm.
kumbaga. So,
Mayuyumi.
mayuyumi, ganyan. So, at ginawang balot na balot. But in pre-colonial Philippines, women definitely bare their chests. And it was normal, nung para sa kanila na gano'n ang pananamit nila.
Mm.
Tapos, yun nga, tatuan ng mga babae in
Yes.
in in some regions of the Philippines, particularly in the Ifugao
Yeah.
region. Ang alam ko kapag tatuan ng babae, it's either may posisyon ka sa society
Mm-hmm.
or you're a leader, something like that.
Yes. Or yeah, you
And
have achieved something.
yes, so kumbaga
Mm.
status symbol yung matatuan
Mm.
ka nung time na
Mm.
yon. So when a woman marry, say they also had the option to not use the last name of the husband.
Mm.
And for Tagalogs naman, when a woman, especially of a distinguished class, she
Mhm.
actually shares the last name. Kumbaga, ang lalaki yung gagamit ng last name niya.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
the husband takes the name of the wife, especially if you're from of higher class or of a position of a certain
Okay.
position in society. So that says a
Mm-mm.
lot
That's true. That's true.
nung time na yon. So feeling ko siguro ito yung mga practice no na I just wish we never lost it just because of
Yeah.
the Spaniards. Alam mo
Mm-hmm.
yon kasi parang can I just keep my last name or can I just
You
if the
have the
husband
option.
agrees,
Yeah.
oo, use
Mm-mm.
my last name, why not, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So
Totoo,
yun.
totoo.
And then females were also made to take charge when it comes to finances and land holdings. Actually, nung nagkakaroon ng mga trading,
Mm-mm.
mga contracts with the Chinese, say for example, a Chinese merchant would actually consider a contract with a woman's signature kasi mas reliable sila.
Oh, interesting. Talaga?
Oo.
That
So,
is,
yan yung
mm,
isa sa mga talagang it says a lot about how free women were and how valued women were during
oo.
those times.
Mm. Can I just,
Although,
oo. Can
Sure,
I just
sure,
say
sure.
lang, since you're talking about the that women can take charge of their finances and lands, just to compare lang with the West nung 1500s.
Mm,
If a woman, let's say, loses her husband, so may mga ari-arian, may ibang women, but there are only a few. One is Margaret Beaufort. But for
mm,
most women, if they let's say, pag namatay ang asawa nila, they need to marry again kasi hindi sila pwedeng mag-hold ng sariling lands.
right. Mm-mm.
Diba? So this really goes to say that our ancestors were very forward thinkers.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. And sa atin, although I haven't read anything about, you know, having, you should like have a son as an elder, as an eldest child para pag namatay ka, sa kanya mapupunta. Wala namang ganon.
Wala
Kasi
namang
so
ganun.
far, eto, pinapakita na pinagkakatiwalaan ng mga babae sa finances and sa lands.
Mm.
So, it doesn't mean na you don't have to have protection of some sort para hindi ma-take away kung ano man yung authority na meron ka.
Yes.
Unlike in England during that time, and kung highborn ka and you ended up having no son, you are at risk of being stripped of your title and everything that you own if your husband passes on.
Or
Yun yung
or the
risk.
the heir would be maybe a relative, hindi
Oo.
directly sa direct line mo, 'di ba?
Oo.
So I
Yun.
think I would like to believe. I mean, if there are some people who would watch this who are more learned, na or they have an idea, can women inherit during this time pre-colonial?
Mm-mm.
I think I'd like to believe they can. They can be heiresses kasi from the fact that they could hold their own finances and their own lands
Yes.
it makes a lot of sense that they can be considered heiresses. I mean, the women during.
True. Also, during pre-colonial Philippines, virginity was not seen as a virtue that should be upheld.
Hmm.
So, Manansan, what do you call this, an activist who wrote for CNN Live, she mentioned na the Spaniards were so appalled in 1521 when they learned about how free the women were in our country. Kumbaga, they did not hindi nila they couldn't wrap their brains around how women behaved and how women
Right.
were looked up at nung time na yon. And then, kumbaga, they took it upon themselves to work and transform how Filipino women were and kumbaga adapted the Iberian way.
Mm-mm-mm.
They
That's
made
right.
women sheltered and reserved. That's
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 true.
the sad truth.
That's the
Yeah,
sad
and
truth.
then that's the reason why we're changing the narrative now, and we want people to understand. And just because you're women, you should shut up. Just because you're a
Mm-mm.
woman, you shouldn't, dress the way you want to dress because of the respect that you're trying to get off of men
Mm-mm.
and stuff. Pero sa totoo lang, hello, kung hindi dumating itong mga matatangos na ilong ng mga taong ito, siguro, kumbaga, walking out with bare chest will not be an issue at all. Kung
Mm-mm.
yun ang nangyari, siguro, oo,
Yeah.
matututong manamit ang mga babae, pero hindi natin ikakahiya siguro na
Yeah.
na
Sinasabi
just
nila ano,
because, oo, just because na nakabandera yung
yeah.
mga dibdib, we're asking for it.
Yeah,
Kasi
it was
ganun na yung naging ano na
modesty.
sexualize na eh.
Yeah, even breastfeeding. Eto ha, dito ako talagang na this really riles me up. Like why can't a mother, let's say they are out and about with their babies and they're breastfeeding. Some people were saying, "Oh, bakit kailangan mo mag-breastfeeding in public?" Eh,
Yeah.
saan mo pa kakainin yung bata? Sa labas ka,
Parang
'di ba?
I eat with people surrounding me. Why can't I feed my child, 'di ba, out in the open? Parang,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Stop, Leon. Teka lang ah. Leon,
sige,
nine,
go.
nine. Oh, sige, go. Leon, stop. Ne. No, Leon, please. na pinaglalaruan yung screen ko. 'Di ba?
Okay.
Yung ay, you watch na lang Peppa Pig, please. Do you want to sit beside
Oh,
me? You want to sit beside me? Ha? O sige, sit beside me. Wag ka lang okay. Just listen to Tita Shots, okay? O sige, you
yes,
were saying,
iyon. So, nasa na ba tayo?
ayun,
We're
yung sa
talking
mga
about the
breastfeeding.
breastfeeding. Oo, yan. Na hindi ko talaga magets bakit kailangan tuloy ha. Ewan ko kung bumili ka ng shawl para
Bumili ako!
takpan, 'di
Ah,
ba? Kung tutuusin kung ako 'yan, hindi. Bakit ako magso-shawl? Eh,
eh,
normal normal, eh.
the
Normal
thing is,
dapat 'yun.
kaya ako bumili ako, hindi siya talaga shawl eh. Talagang it's mainly for breastfeeding mo. For breastfeeding talaga. Na parang may bubong yung bata. Para
Oo,
kang
'yun, 'yun.
babe, just may bubong. Kasi the stairs would really make me feel uncomfortable.
Mm,
Alam mo yon. Kaya parang, it's supposed to be something natural. But,
right.
since you get ogled at,
Mhm.
it's best to just cover, parang nagiging talagang, cover up ka na lang para, alam
Eh,
mo
ikaw
yun,
na yung
ikaw na
ikaw na
mag-a-adjust.
mismo, ikaw na yung mag-a-adjust na parang, "Hoy, kayo
Yeah.
dapat yung mag-adjust." So, yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
I think it stemmed from how the changes were done when we
Yeah.
got conquered, unfortunately. That's the
Mm-mm.
reason why yung pa yung superiority complex ng mga lalaki,
Mm,
mga lalaki ngayon parang kakaiba, it stems from that, sa
mm.
lahat-lahat kung yung traditions and cultures natin and
Yeah.
from our colonizers.
Okay. Alright, so should I move to the next one?
Yes,
Okay. Ayan.
ayan. So, pre-colonial inhabitants were already literate. So, kung nakikita niyo diyan, baybayin ang what do you call this, baybayin yung nasa lower right side, tama ba, na
Mm-mm.
photo. Okay, so the people cling fondly on their own methods of writing and reading. There, kumbaga, scarce ang hindi marunong magsulat o magbasa. Kahit babae marunong. When in fact,
Mm,
kung tutuusin, shift ka sa colonial Philippines. Bihira ang babae na nag-aaral. Kasi kumbaga, oo, pag-aaralin ka pero at a certain level titigil
mm,
ka kasi kailangan mong mag-asawa,
mm,
kailangan mong gumawa ng pamilya. Pero
mhm,
nung pre-colonial, the inhabitants, every single one of them, they can read, they can write. And this was
mm,
mentioned by Francisco Collin. Okay, one of his observations were that one. Okay, there is scarcely a man or nor a woman who does not know and practice that method, even those who are already Christian in matters of devotion. So
mm,
talagang fairly wide ang literacy, mataas ang literacy rate natin. And those who
mm,
were living in coastal communities were said to be a lot more literate among early
mm.
Filipinos. So ito yung mga Ilocanos, Pangasinenses, the Pampangueños, the Tagalogs, and then in some related groups, yung mga Negrenses tsaka Butuanos. So
Kasi
sila
ito
yung mga,
mas
mhm.
mas mas higher. Siguro kasi ito yung mga trading posts, no?
Oo, kasi coastal community sila, eh. So,
Mm,
it's inevitable for them not to really communicate, especially kung mga kasalamuha mo, mga Chinese, mga Indians, ganyan, na mga
mm,
traders. Iyon. And we all know na baybayin is a script that has historically been widely used in traditional Tagalog domains. Meron pa actually isa.
mm,
It's like a general umbrella of what to call the
mm.
old writing style of
Okay.
Filipinos in general.
Okay.
Yes. So, in other parts of Luzon and Visayas in the Philippines, yan, ginamit yan. It was known to be baybayin, but other than that, meron pang isang term. I think it starts with the letter S from what I
Ah,
have researched.
okay.
Yes.
Talaga.
Um, mm
To
So,
ngayon
yan.
ba ngayon ba would you say that a lot of Filipinos are literate or hindi na gano'n kataas ang percentage compared to before. I think our educators. By the way, before I move on, I just want to share what my friend Kuya Gino Luwayon.
Oh,
He's a,
thank
he's
you.
an educator. So sabi niya, this is a nice topic, very informative, sharing this with my friends. So thank you, Kuya. Since Kuya is an
Thank
educator,
you.
he's been in the academy for years now. If he could share, I don't know if he could just post in the comments, ano ba ang literacy rate ngayon sa Pilipinas if may idea siya. Kasi 'di ba
Oo
parang
nga.
nagkaroon daw ng decline.
Oo,
Kaya
nagkaroon ng decline.
'di ba? This is
Yan.
really something interesting. So kung may kung ma, ma, kung narin if Kuya is still watching, sana he is, 'di ba? Baka may idea siya nung percentage ng literacy rate ng mga Filipinos ngayon. Yun.
Mm.
Interesting to Nakakatuwa sana 'di ba na maybe because na-conquer tayo, they felt that
Kaya
we are barbaric.
mm. Yan yung term na barbaric. And come to think of it, our handwriting is really beautiful.
It
And
is.
in fact, nakakainggit actually whenever I see Hangul or yung Thai writing or even the Japanese I forget the
Kanji.
term, kanji. Yan. 'Di ba? May certain beauty to it eh. Hindi katulad ng
Tablet?
the typical English alphabet na nakikita mo.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ay, teka lang. Gusto kunin yung
So
tablet.
parang ano, tawag mo dito, may parang kang gumagawa ng art, 'di ba, kapag
Oo.
nagsusulat ka.
I remembered si Professor Ambet Ocampo posted something about the baybayin. And talagang ang ganda niya na sana mas bigyan ng pansin. And I don't know, kaya pa
Mm.
kaya maituro ito sa school? I think kaya pa, di ba?
Ayun nga, eh, iniisip ko rin kung kaya ko bang matutunan siya, alam mo
Oo nga
'yun?
eh.
Kasi oo, kaunti lang ang mga ano niya, mga characters niya, pero siyempre nandiyan na papasok yung complications na papaano yung for lengthier words, ganyan.
Mm.
Um, oo, na actually, if I may share, yung
Mm.
kapatid ko, si Abby, she's in Thailand, 'di ba? And she
Mm.
started learning the language and I've seen one of her stories wherein she started writing
Mm.
in Thai. And sabi
Wow.
ko, ang dainty naman niyan, ang cute. Sabi ko, ang ganda. Sabi niya, ate, mas gaganda pa yung handwriting mo siguro if inclined ka sa art. Sabi niya, kung ikaw mahilig ka mag-drawing, I think you can write better or more
Mm.
legibly
Yeah.
than me.
Mm.
So, 'di
Ang
ba
ganda
katuwa
eh,
ang
no?
Thai handwriting eh.
Oo.
Thai
Oo.
characters.
'Di ba? Maraming loops and curves
Yes,
and
curls and curves,
curls.
yan.
Yeah,
Oo.
yun.
And just imagine, parang sayang kasi it died. It
Mm.
died when we got colonized, but come to think of it, we already had a solid writing system and
Mm.
we were very literate. So, ayan, sayang, hindi na
Sayang.
preserve. So, buti na lang may mga bumubuhay.
Yeah.
At may mga taong nagsusulat ng ganyan as in literal, as in magagaling. So, there.
It would really be nice to resurrect this. 'Di ba?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Water. Okay. Water daw. Yeah.
Nauhaw na.
What is it? What do you want? Tablet? What? I don't know what it is. What is it? I don't know what that is. Okay, wait. Let's move to the next one, Shopee.
Oo, sure. This is our, yeah, I think this is the sixth
This
slide.
sixth
So,
slide, yeah.
courtship was a long and arduous and expensive, take note, expensive
Expensive.
process. Okay. Um, kung ikaw lalaki at manunuyo ka ng babae nung pre-colonial Philippines, kailangan may mapera ka, kailangan matyaga ka, kailangan masipag ka at may lakas ka ng katawan. Kasi, kumbaga, it often took months or even years before a parent would agree to give their child, their woman child away. Okay, at makumbinsi sila ng nanunuyo. Okay,
No?
na, ito yung tamang lalaki para sa anak kong babae. And even at that point, hindi pa tapos ang courtship kasi may mga
Uh-uh.
bayaran pang kailangang mangyari. So, ang ang bago pa man 'to mangyari nauso na yung paninilbihan. Kumbaga you have to prove yourself. If you're the guy, you have to prove yourself that you're worthy of being a husband to the daughter, that you're wooing.
Mhm.
This is the custom of requiring a guy to work for the girl's family before marriage. So,
Mm.
hindi naman sa aalilain ka, pero you sincerely help out the family in chores, housework,
Mm.
so yung pag-iigib ng tubig,
Mm.
siguro pag-aaralo ng lupa, ganyan,
Pagsisibak ng
heavy
kahoy.
pagsisibak ng kahoy, heavy lifting and all that,
Mm, mm.
you're gonna do those things just to prove
Mm.
your worth. And the man was also required to give bigay kaya. Oh, what happened,
Mm.
Leon?
Hindi nag-ano siya, is imitating what's going on to sa TV.
Oh, I
Ayun.
see.
Hindi
So,
siya nag
kung
hindi
natatandaan
niya.
mo, itong bigay kaya, naalala ko 'to bigla na napag-aralan ko 'to,
Oo.
nung sibika at kultura. Okay, it's also known as a dowry, okay, in the form of
Mm.
land, gold, or dependents.
Ano yung
So,
dependence?
yan yung hindi ko masyadong nakitaan ng or ng explanation about kung anong klaseng dependence yan.
Mm.
Nung kailangan mong na pwede mong napapasang dowry or bigay kaya. But usually, it's land or gold kasi yung common eh, di ba?
Oo. Hindi kaya ano 'yan, mga slaves? Kasi 'di ba may ano,
Yes,
kasi para somebody you can
naalala ko.
depend on. I don't know ha,
Uh,
for educators who would
people,
end up watching
oo,
this, paki-correct us if
yes.
our assumption is correct. Baka ano 'to, mga
Mga
parang
ano, mga pwedeng
slave
mong gawing,
o parang
oo,
servants,
servants. Kasi 'di ba
alipin.
may aliping na mamahay at may aliping sa gigilid.
Sa
Ang
gigilid,
ang
ibig
alip
sabihin,
oh,
sa labas?
kumbaga
Stay out.
stay away. Stay
Ay,
out ka.
so they have their own homes.
Yes,
Okay.
oo.
Hindi, aliping namamahay.
Namamahay
Alipin.
is you live in the home
Okay, stay
of
in.
the amo. Oo,
Okay,
stay
stay
in ka.
in ka. Gano'n, stay
Yan,
in. Okay.
oo. Tsaka isa pang term that I remember is you have a town crier na
Ah,
umalohokan.
umahulukan.
If you remember,
Yeah. Mm.
umaholokan or umalohokan, something. You can
Mm.
type it, check it in Google. Pero
Mm.
that I can assure you, he's a town crier. So, kumbaga kapag may balitang kailangan halimbawa, o may COVID tayo dito sa
May COVID
sorry,
tayo. Ah,
yung naisip kong example kasi yun yung
ah,
prevalent
or
ngayon eh.
ano, or may
So,
bagong case tayo.
variant. So, mga kababayan, pinaaabot ng ating dato, ng mahal na dato na meron na pong Delta variant dito sa ating barangay, lalala. Ayan, yan ang trabaho ng umalohokan. Kumbaga,
Hmm.
they, sila yung mga journalist nung pre-colonial Philippines. So,
Okay.
so kung halimbawa, kung may piging or may piyestahan gaganap at mag-iimbit ang dato or yung namumuno, ayan, sila yung mga nagsasabi. But going back, yun nga, just imagine if you're a guy and you want to marry, you want to marry or gusto mo nang lumagay sa tahimik, hindi ka lang pwede na manliligaw ka lang unlike now na text galore ka lang,
Mm, o
FB
yayain mo lang
Messenger,
mag-date.
WhatsApp or whatsoever at meron kang jowa. Oo, 'di ba? Yayain mo lang mag-Jollibee, eh, kayo na.
Mm.
Charot. Noon kasi talagang paghihirapan mo kaya naman siguro nung time na yon it was sweeter for a guy to really have his woman kasi he worked hard
Mm. Victory
for her
was
to be
sweeter,
finally
kumbaga.
his or to
Mm.
finally oo, it's sweeter and dun mo kasi makikita talaga kung gaano ka um what do you call this, in it to win it yung lalaki. And as a
Mm.
parent, 'di ba, malaking bagay for you to observe how hardworking the guy is and how financially stable he is, of
Mm.
course, with the dowry that he can provide. So that was
Oo.
how people go about making families. It's not
Hmm.
just a one plus one process. You know, it has to be months or years of hard work and money at the same time. Own,
Mm.
yeah, there.
That is really very interesting, no? So, paano kaya 'pag lalaki, parang siyempre hindi puwedeng puro babae, 'di ba? Paano kung let's say yung, I don't know. Kasi 'di ba may like sa hindi naalala ko yung Crazy Rich Asians, eh. Yung 'di ba since yung guy was more affluent, na parang the family was
Mhm.
sabi ni Michelle Yeoh, ito yung favorite line ko sa kanya, sinabi niya kay girl, you will never be enough." 'Di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Talagang, ug, lunok ka na lang, eh.
You
Saka
will
ang
never
tawag mo
be enough.
dito, ah, on the other hand, may mga nabasa din ako na women can also take on a number of husbands
Wow.
if you are of a certain status.
Okay.
Oo. So,
Ah,
kumbaga, yun nga, just like, kaya nga siguro ikinaloka ng mga Espanyol, yung freedom ng mga babae. Kasi, di
mm.
ba, babae ka, tapos hindi ka lang devoted sa isang lalaki, you can take on like, I don't know how many husbands or partners you can,
Mm,
pero,
mm,
it's something that they really felt crazy about. It was
mm.
appalling kasi women, you're supposed to be with just one man,
Okay,
and that's it.
eskandalo.
Oh,
'Yan,
eskandalo.
eskandalo.
Oo, eskandalo talaga
Interesting.
for them.
Oo.
Kaya, 'di ba, pre-colonial life was pretty much yes,
Yeah.
as far as we can see, it was, or we had order, we had things in process. At the same time, it was also a fierce one kasi it's a tribal Philippines, eh.
Mm.
Siyempre talamak ang patayan nito din. That's why we
Yes.
had like sa Ifugao, they were known to be really, really scary warriors kasi
Mm.
namumugot sila ng ulo ng kalaban nila.
Correct, 'di ba? Very
Oo.
very fierce, and of course because that's the way our ancestors were before that, it was considered barbaric
Mhm, mhm.
by our Spanish visitors. Even I think it was the same with how they viewed the Mayans in
Mhm,
South America, 'di ba? In Latin
totoo.
America, since sila ay also na colonized, 'di ba? So these practices were of course very alien to them. And
Right.
remember when we were talking about, I think this was yesterday, that during that time, the papal bull was issued by Pope Alexander the Sixth, the former Rodrigo Borgia, na
Oh,
dividing the world between,
this ito sa'yo,
so, di
eto
ba,
sa inyo.
dividing the world between Spain and Portugal. So it
Parang,
it gives them permission to claim. Para sabi ko, who the hell are you to say that this is yours and this can be yours, di ba? So,
yeah, and that explains like the vastness of the colonized lands of Spain and Portugal. And if I'm, although hindi ko sure where the slave trade started, it I think the Dutch actually started doing those, pero
mhm.
it can even be it can be like traced to somewhat more
Yeah.
further
Mm-mm.
than that. Mm-mm.
Eh, di ba, ko, okay, parang who gives you the right
Saan?
to just tell people, oh sige, eto sa'yo, para huwag kayo mag-away, para daw hindi
Okay,
mag-away.
Spain, Portugal, para hindi kayo mag-away,
O, ayan,
manakop kayo sa ibang parte ng mundo. O, itong parte na 'to sa'yo 'to Spain, itong parte na 'to sa'yo naman 'to
sa'yo.
Portugal. O,
Oo.
parang 'di ba, parang that's bullshit. Are you even God to
Oo.
give that rule?
Oo nga
It
eh.
really is, it still bugs my mind at the same
Mm.
time. Uh, well, not no, we have no say. We can turn back time. That's what I'm
That's
trying
true.
to
That's
say.
true. That's true.
And yeah, and it's history. It's part of
Mm.
uh the kumbaga, it's part of our lives na itong being conquered and all.
Mm.
And kitang-kita naman natin talaga yung yung effect na
Yes.
decades, kumbaga, 'di ba, hundreds of years after, you can see the effect.
Yeah, this would
And
be ano na this won't be easy to stamp out.
Yes.
It's not
Even
gonna be easy to keep up.
even yung yung patriarchy system na yan eh. It, up
Mm-mm.
until now, kahit na it has been we've been trying to change the narrative for more than a couple of years. Wala very pa rin eh. Iba pa rin yung level
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
ng ang tawag mo dito ng iiba pa rin yung level na, hindi dapat ang lalaki talaga yung namumuno sa pamilya, siya dapat yung nasusunod, na
Mm-mm.
instead na equal footing dapat, ganyan. Marami pa rin sa mga
Gender
Pilipino na ang
roles.
gano'n. Oo, na ang gano'n
Mm-mm.
mag-isip, mga old school kumbaga.
Yeah. Naalala ko tuloy yung sinabi ni Andrew E. This was a long time ago. Andrew E. talaga, di ba? Nung interview niya na dapat daw ang babae, ang wife, nagpapasakop sa husband.
Excuse
Yun ang
me?
sabi niya. But I think is, parang medyo ano daw, nagpapasakop. Kaya nga,
Napa-excuse me
I
ako
think it
ah.
was, I think this was during Chris Aquino's show pa noon eh. Kaya parang, napagano'n din si Chris.
Chris
What sabi
TV.
daw niya, what he meant daw, parang no, not even Chris TV. But what he
Way back
meant
pa.
daw was but I think what he meant was kailangan ay parang ang labo ng explanation niya pero doon ako nabindang.
Parang,
Ayun. Ay, 'di ba? Oh, by the way, before pala I forget, Kuya Gino said he cannot share daw his friends cannot view the FB live. So, Kuya, I sent you the link sa YouTube live dun sa message mo so you could share it. Yun. 'Di ba dun
yes, please
yun.
enjoy and share away.
Oo, thank you kuya. Kuya ko yan. Talagang ano yan. Ever since Youth for Christ days, he's like
Oh, wow.
he's like the kuya I never had. Ayan, oh, 'di ba? Ayun, natawa talaga ako sa sinabi ni Andrew ina yun eh. Dapat nagpapasakot. Anyway, parang hindi ko rin na-get yung explanation na parang it wasn't hindi niya na hindi niya ako na-convince.
He wasn't
Oo.
able to sell his explanation to
Oo,
you.
totoo. Kasi parang in love siya dun sa parang in love yung asawa niya sa kanya, parang gano'n.
Oh,
Ayun.
well.
Ayun. Anyway, so ayun ang marami kaming gustong i-share. Siguro maybe something, may fun fact ka bang i-share, Shops? Yung pinag-usapan natin fun fact na you'd like to share. Yung
Oh.
ano yung ibig sabihin ng tao po?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oo.
ayan.
If you guys are into lore and Philippine lore and other stuff, I've learned since I dabble into tabletop role playing games. May mga tabletop role playing games kasi na na that's about Philippine
Mm-mm.
lore and tradition. So doon ko na kakabasa ko, I learned the roots of this saying in Filipino, tao po. So nung mga panahon na yon, naniniwala ang mga Precolonial Philippines sa mga engkanto, sa mga ang tawag mo dito, the spiritual world. Okay, they believed
Mm.
in that. So, kumbaga, there was a point na they had to protect themselves against these elements. Okay? Kaya naman nauso yung saying na tao po. So, kailan to
Mm.
sinasabi? Halimbawa, tayo, nasa loob tayo ng bahay, and we were not expecting someone to drop by or visit our home. Kakatok,
Mm.
'di ba?
Oo.
So, yung taong kumakatok from the outside, obviously, they would have to say, tao po ako,
Ayan.
just to let the people inside the house na hindi po ako engkanto, hindi po ako
Mm.
elemento or whatsoever. Kumbaga, literal tao ako.
Oo,
So,
yun.
that's,
Ayan, nilagay ko
oo.
diyan, tao po.
Oo, you
Yun.
have to let them know na tao po ako. Pero ngayon kasi
Oo.
na iba na eh, 'di ba? Nagkaroon ng
Oo.
ng kakaiba ng variety dun sa
Mm.
ibig sabihin.
Oo.
So, kasi dito tao po, you're letting the person know na you have a visitor. But
Mm.
before, you have to let the person or the people inside the homes, kumbaga, feel safe. So, kailangan mo
Mm.
sabihin na ako po ay isang tao.
Hindi po
there.
ako hindi po ako,
Kapre, hindi po ako
kapre,
duwende.
hindi po ako duwende, ang gyobi-gyobi po ako sorry, gyobi-gyobi
Tao
po,
po ako.
gyobi-gyobi po. Ay, sorry.
'Di ba? So that's one of the interesting things na
Yun,
I
pinaniwalaan nila.
enjoyed learning.
Ako
Oo,
din, eh, parang, okay, it makes sense, 'di ba?
true.
Oh. Eh, paano kung mapaglaro yung elemental? Dun lang.
Yun nga, wala akong nababasa about that kasi what if they can, doppelganger levels pala
Yeah,
ito,
oo.
'di ba?
Yun na parang naisip ko, oo nga 'no, eh, paano kung ano siya mapaglarong elemental or mapaglarong diwata or something like
Oo,
that. It's very
yan.
guys, it's very interesting yung mga folklore natin, mythology natin.
Yes,
It's very
sobra.
interesting. It's very rich kumbaga. O yan. So
Yes.
dahil diyan, ipapasok ko na ito since let's conclude na. Ayun.
Mm.
So, we would like to leave you with always what we always tell you. Take it away, Shops.
Yes, so remember, history is not boring. It's part of the fiber of our existence. Lagi po nating tandaan, wala tayong saysay kung walang kasaysayan. So with that said, please feel free to comment, like, share, our page.
Mm.
Even the old episodes, you are free to enjoy them and share them away because our
Yes.
goal is to make people aware that history is not something you'd sleep on because it's a thoroughly interesting subject. In
It
fact,
is. It
okay,
is.
ang daming pwedeng matutunan about history. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode, guys. And again, we look forward to seeing you in our next uh
Yes.
venture. Yeah.
Yeah. Since if you would like us to talk about certain topics in history that you'd like us to, pagchikahan
Yes.
natin, please let us know. You could post a comment or send us a message to our FB page. Yes.
Mm.
Na sana we'll be more active in. Oo. Awa ng
Pero
Diyos.
makikita at makikita
Makikita
namin yan
namin
since
siya.
mas
Oo.
active kami sa FB.
Mas active
Yan.
kami sa FB. Yes. So, just give us suggestions on yung gusto nyo next topic that we can talk about. And thank you again for those who watched. Kuya Gino, I sent you the link. So, I hope your friends would be able to appreciate it. Okay? And check out our other
Maraming salamat, Teacher Gino. And God bless you for sharing this episode. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, and I hope that everybody stays safe. Uh,
Yes.
COVID is still out there, so please stay
And
safe.
lockdown na naman po dito dahil
Okay.
sa Delta variant.
Yes, so ingat-ingat lang po. Even if nagbukas na rin yung ibang establishments, still precaution pa din kailangan umiral. All right.
Yes,
Thank you
likewise. Ingat.
everybody. Enjoy your weekend and we hope to see you again in our next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.